Hey, Richard Beach here from Sonic State Amp, that's Sonic State's guitar channel, and today I have with me Nick Wheeler from the All American Rejects, who's a massive gear fanatic, I hear, and hopefully you're going to talk to me about some of the stuff you've got going on your rig and why you're here at NAMM.
That could be a long interview.
Man, I've got until 6 o'clock until I get chucked out. So
all right.
Okay.
We'll see what we can do.
So first of all, while you're at Dean Markley, what are you doing here?
Dean Markley are guitar strings that I've been using religiously now for quite some time. I mean, probably a decade. Probably my whole professional career. I can honestly say, and I think I even wrote this down and they used it in the ad, but it's true. I you know, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I can honestly say I don't remember the last time I broke a string in a show.
Really?
So I got that going on, you know, and so do they, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I guess the thing that springs to mind when I think of your music is you're bringing back the talkbox. Yeah. The talkbox solo, man, that was cool. So
thanks, dude.
Have you seen the new MXR talkbox? It's here at NAMM. It's
no.
It needs no power amp. It's just the surgical tube, and it goes straight into the talkbox. That's pretty cool.
Is there still a speaker in there? Or?
Inside the talkbox?
Yeah.
No, I think it goes out to PA. So it's going straight out to your rig.
Huh. Yeah, because the one I'm using now, it's not like the old, like, you know, Peter Frampton style where you need a separate amp for it.
Right.
It's actually got a little amp inside, but it still has the speaker and the tube, and the PA is still picking up the microphone, you know, all that. So I'm wondering, is it still like that, or is it more like an effect pedal?
I haven't
check that out.
It's a compact effects pedal. So.
Huh. All right, I'll check it out.
I haven't had a massive look myself, but you should definitely check that out.
Indeed.
So, when you were playing around with the talkbox, what was your inspiration for that? Because not a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it came to my attention, you know, when I was a kid, you know, watching, you know, Richie Sambora.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Jerry Cantrell used it a little bit too. He kind of dabbled. But it was just, I don't know, it was one of those things that I kind of, I wouldn't say I get bored, I just like excess when it comes to gear and guitar stuff. And if I do it on a record, or if I have an idea, I like to be able to recreate that live. So like, you know, as I was saying earlier, it'd be a long conversation to like break down my rig. There's a lot going on, and my guitar tech, who's around here somewhere, he probably hates me because of it. But yeah, I don't know. It was something fun. I used on our second record, Move Along, on a song that we called Night Drive. It wasn't a single. You know, we only played it for like 1 or 2 tours, and I don't know. I wanted to bring it back. Yeah. And you know, the first single had a talkbox solo. I thought it was pretty hilarious, and a wah pedal. It was my first foray into wah pedals too. So yeah, it was fun to actually, you know, get to do all that, you know, on TV and stuff.
So when you're, are you using these effects when you're writing your songs? Are you taking them into the studio, using them as an inspiration, creative inspiration, basically? Yes
and no. I mean, like with the talkbox, I used that on our song "Beekeeper's Daughter," which was the first single on our most recent record, "Kids in the Street." The song was written, and there was usually when we write, we leave a chunk of the song. Just like, this is going to be like at the instrumental section or the guitar solo or something. Hey, speak the devil, there he is right there. And I was like, fuck it, let's try a talkbox here. So I had 8 bars to, you know, play around with, and I, you know, wrote this solo that worked, and I didn't think it was ever going to see the light of day. I just thought it was something fun I could play around with in my room, and then, you know, everybody else heard what I did, and I was like, it's like, this is just a placeholder till I figure out what the real guitar solo is going to be. And then everybody's like, no, this is it, right? Like, that's great. I'm like, all right, cool, if you say so, I'm going to get away with this, or try to at least. So, one thing I'm interested in with guys who are, like, obviously you're on the road a lot and you're using generally quite loud, big amps. Like, I've seen you use the JC120 for clean sound, is that right? Mm-hmm. Roland, what are you doing when you're practicing at home? And surely you can't be taking that on the road if you're in the tour band and huge amp plugged in.
What do you do as a solution for that?
No, I mean, at home I pretty much just play acoustic guitars.
Right, okay. That's a simple solution.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Roland, the JC120. It's one of those things. It's really great for the application that I use it for, but I use it so infrequently.
Okay.
It doesn't always come on the road with me, but it was introduced to me when we recorded our second record, Move Along. The song It Ends Tonight was all JC120.
Yeah.
So I used it on the road a lot, 5 or 6 years ago. And it's one of those things that I always have with me when I go into the studio. It's just that thing that's like, yes, this is the part that we use the JC120 for. It's been on every record since. But yeah, like I said, I don't use it often enough to justify making that guy carry it around all the time.
That's me.
But I got away with it as long as I could, goddammit.
Fair enough. So, and your last record as well, to me it sounded like something that when you're in the studio, you're taking a lot of time over. It sounded like a clean record, like everything sounded planned out. It sounded like you really stripped everything down and thought about what you're doing individually on each part. It didn't sound like there was any excess. So when you're in the studio there, it sounds like more of a pop direction in terms of the way you're thinking in production. How does that change the way that you play and write your parts, and what gear you're using as well?
I think, being a person who's very afraid of just commitment in general, it's really hard to just play something once and then let it live forever on a recording. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I was in every aspect of recording when we first started out.
Okay.
Like when we made that first record, I wanted everything to be perfect.
So it takes you a lot of time to record them, I take it.
I guess it depends. Our first record, we'd already recorded those songs once. We'd made demos. When we made our second record, we were so well rehearsed that those parts had been played over and over already.
Yeah.
That when we recorded them, we already, it felt like we were already, had been on the road, playing these songs. But there's something to be said. Like the last couple of records we've made, we've really tried to be more spontaneous, and sometimes not even had certain parts written when we recorded.
Okay.
In the end of the day, we are really anal and we do want it to sound great, but there's something to be said about playing something for the first time, because it sounds different when you play it the first time than when you play it the 5th time or the 10th time or the 39th time, whatever it is, that take that you use. There's a song on a new record called Walk Over Me, and only half the solo was written. I didn't know what to do with the other half. And I made everybody leave the room because I hate wanking. Yeah. And especially when people are listening. Like I will not go sit at one of these booths and plug in and play. Like I don't want anybody hearing what I'm doing.
There's enough people here who will do that anyway.
Yeah. So who needs one more? So I made everybody leave the room, came up with something that worked, that I was excited about, I was apprehensive about. That's the best stuff. It's like, I've never done like a bluesy lick like this before. Let's see what everybody thinks. They came in, like, awesome. So I played it a couple times, played it once, and it was just like, I flubbed, I missed a note completely. There's like you just hear it instead. And then I'm just like, do it again, and everybody's like, no, wait, that was awesome. And I was like, you mean to tell me, but right now it's 5 against 1, you're gonna make me put like a missed note, like a botched take completely on a record.
So that take a lot of persuasion for you to actually let that go?
It did, but at this time I was so frustrated with myself that I was just like, all right, fine, whatever you say, I'll fix it tomorrow.
Well, man, our website.
But I never did. It's fucked up, and it's on the record. Yeah.
Cool. Our website's pretty much dedicated to complete guitar appreciation. So,
all right,
if there was one part of your rig that you could save, right, and you had to live with this little part of your rig or a big part of your rig forever, depending on what it is, what would you save?
It's kind of become my like go-to, my standby. I used a lot on this last record because we were able to set up and record a lot of this record live, or at least the basic tracks. It would always be my Firebird, my ZVEX super hard-on pedal, and an AC30.
Right.
That's if shit hit the fan and I had to pull off a show with just one tone,
you reckon you could do it just with that?
I'd have to play around with my volume knob a lot and crank the super hard on every once in a while, but I think so. I'd like to think that you know, out the door, like that entire song is on our new record is all just that right there. Firebird, super hard on AC30. I also like the red snapper, the Minitone red snapper pedal.
Okay.
Those are kind of, I go between those two, but I know that wasn't just one thing, but
that's all right, man. That's in keeping with what we think anyway.
Okay.
Say one thing, say three things.
Yeah.
Same. So when you're playing live, are you using like a switching system? Have you got rack gear going on as well behind stage?
Yeah, I'm always transitioning into another, like a new setup.
Yeah.
I used the Ground Control Pro for a long time. And it did me well for a couple of records, but I kind of outgrew it, you know. And I'm working a lot with custom audio electronics, Bob Bradshaw. Nothing custom, just his new line of just pedal switching is doing really great. And I've always got a handful of amps on stage. I'm trying to figure out ways to do it more efficiently. But you know, next time you talk to me, I might be onto something else completely.
I think that's the journey of any guitarist, though, really, isn't it? Is always changing your rig, always looking for better things, better ways to do it, really.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, you know, with a rock band, you know, there's, you know, rock bands aren't, you know, unless you're one of the two that are still doing it, you know, there's not really arena tours going on anymore. You know, you got to fit in smaller clubs, you got to carry your gear more efficiently. You know, I mean, we're trying to figure out better ways to do it, and the technology's there to do so nowadays, which it hasn't always been. You know, like. If people were using pods live, you know, you could tell. These days, there's a lot of stuff out there that, you know.
Yeah, digital's come a long way, especially in the last few years.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting. You know, I think it opens the doors to not only do it more efficiently, but to actually, you know, create some really interesting guitar tones live that you couldn't normally do without bringing out the fucking edges, you know, guitar rig. So.
Yeah. Have you seen the the Kemper profiling amp and things like that?
I just heard about this the other day.
Yeah?
It looks like it's more like a studio application thing, isn't it?
It is. Well, they originally it was completely digital and it didn't have a power amp, so it was essentially a rack unit, but in the body of a small amp. And now they've done a rack unit and a separate one which has a 600 watt power amp inside it. So
600 watts?
Yeah, you can use it live. You can put it into a cab. I know, man. I went by the booth yesterday and.
Oh, they're here?
I need a new set of eardrums. Like it was loud, but
that's insane. Yeah, I just heard about that the other day from the guy that engineered our record. I was telling him about this Axe Effects that I'm starting to dabble in. It could be genius. I have yet to try it out on the road, but I'm excited to see.
I've heard good things. A bit out of my price range, unfortunately, but I've heard really good things.
Well, I mean, at first glance, it can't fail. So fingers crossed.
Cool.
It makes it, you know, it helps. You know, people like, you know, in a situation like me in a rock band that's trying to tour more efficiently, just, you know, another tool to help that out.
So are you guys staying out on the road this year then? Is that what you got planned?
We got a few one-offs this spring. We got some radio shows in college dates, and we just put out our third single, Heartbeat Slowing Down, which, you know, it's starting to make some noise on the radio, so we'll see where that takes us. Hopefully it keeps us out, you know, through the summer.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, thanks for talking to us. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, likewise. I always like talking gear. I don't get to do it too often. So.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad we indulged you in that. That's
cool.
And guys, thanks for watching at home. We've been Sonic Stay Amped, and watch the next video as well. Cheers.